learned about it in November of 2023, that my son was getting paid from Alaska from some company that Paul and his family, I guess, invested in. The day Garrett was born, he had been getting like $10,000 every 3 to 4 months, and half of that was my son's money. And I wasn't even aware of this until about a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Judge, there's only one agreement between the parties, and that is to child support, for current child support. The agreement is for there to be child support to be set to $0 as the child is receiving dividends through the Arctic Slope Regional Corporation.
I'm sorry, no, they're receiving dividends through a corporation? Is that what you said?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, I'm going to need testimony on that. I'm sure that warrants a deviation, but maybe it does.
Okay, Judge, that's fine.
The hearing begins with a revelation no one saw coming. The mother tells the court, since my son was born, he's been receiving money from Alaska, $10,000 every few months. The judge immediately pauses the proceedings, demanding testimony. What started as a simple child support case has now turned into something far more explosive, a battle over oil dividends from Alaska. And in that instant, the courtroom realizes this is no ordinary custody fight.
And does everyone agree that this is your child, Mr. Caldwell and Ms. Proctor? You both agree that the AOP was signed and Garrett is both of your child?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you may continue, Ms. Petita.
Okay, Judge. Since the court's wanting testimony on the agreed child support, Judge, I'll call the parties first. I'll call Ms. Proctor.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ms. Proctor, you previously identified yourself. You are the mother to the child in this case. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Caldwell is the father of your child?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's see, the child currently resides with you?
Yes, ma'am.
And what kind of conservatorship are you asking for the court?
Considering that he has been absent since the child...
The judge presses both parties. Do you agree this child is yours? Both mother and father confirm, but what comes next sends shockwaves through the room. The mother demands sole managing conservatorship. Her reason? Since he was 6 months old, I've raised him alone. Now he's nearly 7, and his father has been absent the entire time. The tension rises. This isn't just a custody request. It's a direct accusation that the father abandoned his child.
Was 6 months old. I would like the safe visitation program for the first 6 months.
Asking for about conservatorship, right? Are you asking for joint managing conservatorship?
Oh, okay. It's sole managing conservatorship.
Okay. And what is the reason for wanting sole managing conservatorship?
Because I've raised him by myself since he was 6 months old, and he is almost 7 years old now. I have not asked for any kind of help since he's been born. I haven't really I haven't involved Paul that much because he has a drug problem, and I just don't agree with the drugs he does. He's also threatened to kill me and my child, and I have proof of that as well. I don't feel like it's safe fully yet because there's a lot of growing to do.
When did he threaten to kill you and your child?
And then, the bombshell. The mother accuses the father of more than just absence. She claims he has a serious drug problem, and even worse, he allegedly threatened to kill both her and their child. The room falls silent. Allegations of abuse, drugs, and death threats turn what should have been a discussion about visitation into a chilling question of safety and survival. The judge leans in, clearly disturbed. This case is spiraling into dangerous territory.
In 2022, and that's what initially, I have a screenshot of it, but that's what initially made me kind of cut complete contact off, because there was a lot of threats during the relationship and a lot of physical abuse during the relationship as well.
Okay. So do you have concerns with him having your contact information?
He has, his girlfriend has me on Facebook. That's as far as it's gotten. I would rather him not have my contact information, but he can message me through Facebook. And he is not blocked or anything. Never
Okay,
has.
as far as your phone number and address, are you asking the court to grant you a non-disclosure of your information today?
I would like that, yes.
Okay. Now, you said since 2022, you cut off communication with him. Since 2022, has he communicated with the child or seen the child?
The mother now asks the court for something drastic: complete privacy. No phone number, no address, nothing. Only limited contact through Facebook. She admits she allowed a single video call just weeks ago because her son begged to speak with his father. But even then, her voice shakes as she explains, "I don't want the drugs. I don't want the threats. I'm still terrified." The court now faces a question no parent ever wants to hear. Is contact with a father too dangerous for his own child?
He video called him about a month and a half ago because my son was having a fit to talk to him, and I'm not going to keep my son from talking to him because he is getting older, and I would like for him to have a relationship with him, but I want I just don't want the drugs and the threats. I'm still very uncomfortable with it,
Okay.
especially because he's never been, like, they
Since
don't have
20
a relationship.
Since 2022, has he threatened you again?
Yes, he's threatened me multiple times.
Okay, and how?
Do you remember?
Yeah, he told me he was gonna turn the insides.
Objection.
Ma'am. Sustained. You cannot have a conversation with a third person to affect your
Oh, okay.
testimony. If you don't remember, you can say you don't remember, and you can call witnesses, but this is not like getting
Okay.
testimony through
I
other
don't-
people. That's not appropriate for court. You were here on the witness stand. If you were in court, you couldn't have a
The
side.
drama only escalates. The mother describes screenshots of chilling messages, threats to rip her apart, leave her body on the roadside, and even take the child from her. The judge warns her to focus only on testimony, but the picture is already clear. This isn't just a custody battle anymore. It's a story of alleged abuse, intimidation, and fear. The audience is left wondering, how far did these threats really go? And how much danger is this child truly in?
Conversation with someone who would even be sitting at your table. So just
Okay.
think of it as court, and just, if you don't remember, you don't remember, but please don't get information from other people. It's not appropriate.
Okay. I didn't know. I've never done this before.
That's okay. Now you both know.
Okay. Yeah, he walked off, but it's just been a lot. I just cut complete communication off at one point and just stopped responding because I have screenshots that I could send over that it just kind of shows it all, where he's threatened to turn my insides out and lay me on the side of a road. He's threatened to take Garrett from me and kill me and then tell Garrett all about it. Like, I have all this from his Facebook that says Paul Caldwell, and just lists of constant mental abuse, threats. I just stopped responding.
Okay, Ms. Proctor. And you also mentioned that he uses drugs. Do you have personal knowledge of that?
She goes further, claiming she has evidence from the father's own phone. A text offering to sell him an ounce of cocaine for $700. Proof, she says, that he isn't just using, he's dealing. Suddenly, the father's credibility collapses. What parent could fight for custody with allegations of drug dealing hanging over their head?
Yes, actually, I let him come to Garrett's birthday party about 3 years ago, and he left his phone there, and I took a picture, which I don't know if it's illegal or not, but I took a picture of the notifications on his thing because I wanted proof that he sells drugs, and it literally says that someone was trying to sell him an ounce of cocaine for $700 on his text messages that would pop up on the screen. I couldn't click on it or open it. I just took a picture of that, and I have the picture of that as well. But
Okay. Is that when is the last time that he saw your son in person?
on his birthday about 3 years ago, and it was for about 30-45 minutes until he was asked to leave because he body slammed my dog into the ground.
Okay, ma'am, if you could just listen to the questions and not give extra answers, it's very hard to follow. when everything gets followed up with more information. And I know you want to share it all and you're happy to, you're excited that you're.
The last time the father saw his son in person? 3 years ago, at the boy's birthday, and it ended in chaos because, according to the mother, he body slammed her dog. The judge scolds her for spilling too many details, but the damage is done. The image lingers, an out-of-control man at a child's birthday party.
Getting to tell your story, and I want to hear it, but I lose a lot of it when people just explode information at me. So listen to the questions Ms. Petita will ask. At the end, you will get a chance to just talk, but right now Ms. Petita is trained. She knows kind of what I need to hear, and if you just answer what she's asking, it'll get through to me a lot better. So,
Yes, ma'am.
appreciate Ms. Petita.
Okay. Okay, so you said he last saw him about 3 years ago at his birthday. Before that, did he have any kind of regular visitation with him?
No, he has never had any kind of regular visitation.
Okay. So what kind of visitation are you asking the court to order today?
Preferably, I would like if he was in the safe visitation program for about 6 months, considering they don't know each other really. And then after that 6 months, maybe supervised by a family member or somebody close to both of us that can mediate.
The mother lays out her terms. 6 months of supervised visits at a center, then 3 months supervised by family, then, only maybe, alternate weekends. Step by step, tightly controlled. Her message is clear. She doesn't trust him. Not yet, maybe not ever.
And be supervised visitations for maybe another 3 months, and then ease his way into having him every other weekend, because he is still young and I don't want him to be confused.
Okay. So are you worried about your son being confused or about his safety?
Really all of it, the safety, the drugs. I don't want him to be confused being with, someone he doesn't really know that well. I've never really let my son go anywhere like that. I don't the drugs around him. I just, the way he used to act towards me and still is concerning, because some people take that out on the children. I just don't think he's mentally stable enough to have a child overnight or by himself.
Okay, so you're asking the court to grant you a step up.
The judge asks, is she worried about her son's confusion or his safety? Her answer, both. Drugs, threats, instability. She says the father isn't safe and isn't stable. The courtroom is left with a haunting question. How do you balance a child's right to know his father against the risk that father could destroy him?
Visitation plan, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. It's where they go to the little centers and I can drop him off and he can see him there.
Now, when did you and Mr. Proctor or Mr. Caldwell separate?
When Garrett was 6 months old.
About what month and year was that?
It was maybe December of 2018.
So what was in December of 2018?
That's when we split.
Okay.
Now, since then, have you all lived together again?
No.
Now,
Did he do all the drugs and stuff when you were all together, or has that all been after separation?
It was going on while we were
The
together.
story sharpens. The parents split in December 2018 when the boy was only 6 months old. At first, the grandmother allowed brief visits, but then came the threats. I'll murder you and tell Garrett about it. After that, all visits stopped. The narrative now is one of fear, danger, and survival.
And that's what caused the separation, because I don't do stuff like that and I don't agree with it. And he chose the drugs over his family, so.
did he have supervised visitation with the baby after you all separated? Did you do any kind of visitation?
My mom would let him see him here and there before he was about 2.5 years old. That stopped because that's whenever I got the threat that he was going to murder me and tell Garrett about it. And so I told my mom to stop letting him see Garrett because of that. And my mom had agreed with me. So when he would see Garrett, it was very vaguely, and it was with my mom. I would just My mom would just ask like, "Hey, is this okay?" And I'd be like, "Yes, that's fine." Because there was nothing.
The court confirms. Both sides already agreed to zero child support. Why? Because of the Alaska oil dividends. But now, the mother explains how she only recently discovered those payments, and how the father had been living off their child's money. The story shifts from custody to corruption.
Too serious going on at that time, but Garrett was barely 2.5 years old. And then he threatened to kill me, so we cut it off.
Okay. Did you hear me say to the court earlier that there was an agreement between you two for zero child support in exchange for your child receiving the dividends?
Yes, ma'am.
Correct. Okay. Can you share what that means?
I am still kind of just learning about the dividend thing. I learned about it in November of 2023, that my son was getting paid from Alaska from some company that Paul and his family, I guess, invested in. I'm still trying to understand the whole thing. I don't fully understand it yet.
She tells the court how it took her over a year and a half to wrestle those dividends away, finally getting the father to sign them over just months ago. Now, every 3 to 4 months, her son receives $2,000 to $4,000. Before, it was the father pocketing that cash. Now, the money is in her control. The courtroom can't ignore the implication. Was the father exploiting his own son for survival?
But I found out about it because his ex-girlfriend told me about it, and turned out since the day Garrett was born, he had been getting like $10,000 every 3 to 4 months, and half of that was my son's money. And I wasn't even aware of this until about a year and a half, 2 years ago. And when I found out about it, I contacted the Arctic Slope Regional Corporation, and I informed them that I've had the child since he was born, and that these dividends of my child's are going to the wrong parent. And it took me about a year and a half, which would be about 3 months ago, to finally get Paul to sign over all the dividends to me. And I still don't understand fully what it's from, but every 3 or 4 months, my son gets between like $2,000 to $4,000, and Paul was living off that before I got.
She pushes for retroactive support, 4 to 5 years of nothing. But confusion strikes. The state suggests subtracting her son's own $18,000 dividend from the $19,000 owed. Her voice breaks. That's Garrett paying Garrett. Why would he? My child pay himself? It's a twisted financial puzzle, and the stakes couldn't be higher.
So
Okay. So at this point,
Yeah.
you are receiving those dividends for your child.
yes, I am now.
Okay, and your agreement for there to be there to be no child support going forward because you are receiving those dividends.
Yes, ma'am. As long as they stay in my name.
Okay. Are you asking for retro child support, for back child support?
So I was looking for the retroactive child support just because I have had no support the past 4 or 5 years whatsoever. I didn't really know how that would work since we're not doing the child support. I didn't know if I could still get retroactive child support or not. But I am curious about
Have
that.
you received any money for your child?
Other than the
The mother explains she's locked every cent of that $18,000 into a trust. Her son can't touch it until he's 18. She presents herself not just as a protector, but as a planner. The father, by contrast, is painted as reckless, unstable, and dangerous.
Dividends that my child is owed from Paul himself? No. I mean, he bought a pair of shoes last month, but that was about it.
Oh, wait, what do you mean by the dividends that your child is owed?
So my son's dividends are in his name. I just have like primary control over it. And then Paul gets dividends of his own. So like, I guess what I'm getting at is the lady I talked to earlier said that y'all might take the retroactive child support amount of $19,000 and subtract the $18,000 I got for Garrett like 2 months ago out of it, so he would only owe like 1,000 something. But I was confused by that because then it would be like Garrett paying Garrett. That would be coming out of Garrett's money. So why would it come out of my child's money and not his money is where I'm confused.
The judge presses further. Beyond those dividends and a single pair of shoes, has the father ever provided support? The answer, no. The silence in the courtroom says it all. In nearly 7 years, the father hasn't acted like a parent or even like a provider.
Okay, so you're saying you received $18,000 for your child 2 or 3 months ago?
Yes, and all that went into a trust fund that I already had set up. So I don't even have none. All that's put up.
Okay, do you have access to that money?
I do, but the way I have it set up is he's not getting it till he's 18 because I got in a car accident about 5 years ago and I got paid out so much that they set up my kids their own trust funds from that. And so I just added to it. Does that make sense?
Okay, so, but the 18,000, would it have come to you, like these dividends are coming to you that you're getting every 3 to 4 months?
It's direct deposit.
Okay, so the $18,000 was deposited in your account?
Yes.
Let's see. And other than that, money and the
Her son is on Medicaid. She has state coverage. And when asked about court costs, she calmly agrees to give the father a year to pay. Even in this moment, she appears steady. The contrast to the father's alleged chaos grows clearer by the second.
your shoes, have you received any other kind of financial assistance from Mr. Caldwell?
No, not that I can remember. It's been a while.
Do you have access to affordable health insurance through an employer or another source?
My son has Medicaid. And then I have the Texas Women's Health also.
Okay. Okay. Now, if the county of Galveston County orders court costs, are you in agreement to give Mr. Caldwell a year to pay those back till 6/12/2026?
Yes, that's fine.
Finally, the father steps forward. He confirms the agreement, 0 child support because of the oil money, but the damage is already done. For the last half hour, the courtroom has been filled with accusations of drugs, threats, and abuse. His every word now carries a shadow.
Judge, I pass this witness.
Okay, you may call your next witness.
Judge, I'll call Mr. Caldwell.
You may do so.
Mr. Caldwell, you identified yourself earlier. You're the father to the child that's before the court today, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you heard what I explained to the court earlier, that you all are in agreement for 0 child support going forward, because your child is receiving dividends from the ASRC, correct?
Yes, correct.
Can you explain to the court what that means?
Arctic Slope Regional Corporation is a corporation of the native people of the North Slope villages in Alaska, and it's a oil consulting.
The father paints a different picture. He explains the Arctic Slope Regional Corporation, the Native Alaskan People's Company, funded by oil rights. He says the dividends are his son's birthright, untouchable, unsellable, guaranteed for life. To him, it's heritage, but to the mother, it was exploitation.
Company, because we, as the people of the North Slope of Alaska, own the rights to the minerals and the land. So as reparations from the U.S. government, we have the ownership rights to the minerals and the land. And so oil is the main commodity of our land. So we're mainly based in oil consulting and oil connection companies. So the shares that each person is allotted is based on their blood quantum. And Garrett is 1/16th Native Alaskan, and that comes from my bloodline, and that's how he was eligible to get those shares. And he is not able to sell them or trade them or give them off to anybody. Those are his shares. And she has temporary custodialship of his ASRC portal. So that's his shareholding profile, but she doesn't have the right.
He breaks it down. Garrett is 1/16th Native Alaskan. That's why he qualifies. The dividends, he argues, can never be taken away, only inherited. He frames it as reparations, a permanent benefit of his son's bloodline. But the courtroom isn't focused on heritage. They're focused on the allegations hanging over his head.
To his shares because those were his birthrights. That's what our reparations from the U.S. government are for coming and infringing on our land. So we get the rights, and that's with the rights for the minerals, then we work with other companies and corporations that pay us to come onto our land.
Okay, and so those dividends are your son's birthrights. Is it a lifetime benefit?
Yes, they do not diminish, and they can never be sold or given away or transferred to anyone unless he dies. And then even then, they can only be transferred to next of kin or distributed amongst other shareholders that already are in the shareholder pool or qualify for the blood quantum to enter the shareholder pool.
In the final moments, the father insists these shares belong solely to his son. The mother only has temporary custodianship. They can never be sold or given away, he explains. But as the gavel looms, the question remains: does financial heritage erase the fear of drugs, threats, and abuse? The courtroom has heard two stories, one of blood rights, the other of survival. Now it's up to the judge to decide which one will define this child's future.